This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutter, welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, September 15th, the year 1963, a surprise has happened. These three boys you see are all brothers. You have Matty Alou, Jesus Alou, and Felipe Alou. This was the first time that three brothers were in the same game at the same time. It was the San Francisco Giants against the Pittsburgh Pirates at Forbes Field on a Sunday, and it was a big matchup. The Giants were trying to chase down the LA Dodgers for the National League title. Remember, at that time, that there was only one team per league who could move on to the World Series, even though that both teams expanded to 10 teams in the early 60s. So the Giants were ready to go against the Pirates. Billy O'Dell versus Don Schwall. The starting lineups were this. The Giants had Felipe Alou in right field, Chuck Hiller at second, Willie McCovey playing left field, that's unusual, Willie Mays in center, Orlando Cepeda playing first base, now you know why McCovey couldn't play first base, Ed Bailey at catcher, Jim Davenport at third, Jose Pagan at short, and pitcher Billy O'Dell. The Pirates countered with Gene Alley at short, Manny Mota in center, Willie Stargell in left. Another big one is like Stargell's usually a first baseman. Anyway, Roberto Clemente in right field. Don Clendenin at first. Smokey Burgess at catcher, Bob Bailey at third, Bill Mazeroski at second, and Don Schall at the pitcher spot. The Giants came out big with Willie Mays hitting a deep home run to left field, scoring him Felipe Alou, who somehow made it on base even though he struck out because it was a passed ball by the Pittsburgh catcher, getting him to first base, and Chuck Hiller. Nothing much happened in the game until the bottom of the fourth when Smokey Burgess hit a RBI single to score Willie Stargell. In the meantime, Felipe Alou actually reached on a E5, an error by the third baseman in the top of the second. And then in the fifth, he drove a pitch to center field, but it was caught. The Pirates tied the game with a triple by Manny Mota to score Don Schall, who got in on a single, and Willie Stargell singled home Mota. Tie game at 3. And then came the top of the seventh. Felipe Alou walked. After a Chuck Hiller single, McCovey came in with an RBI single to score Alou and Hiller, and got to third base thanks to an error by the center fielder. Earl Francis came in to pitch. He intentionally walked Willie Mays, but Cepeda hit an RBI single. Cepeda steals second to make it second and third. Ed Bailey singles to score Cepeda and Mays. Jim Davenport grounded into a double play, but it didn't matter. But here was the big news. Jesus Alou would be playing right field, so McCovey was replaced by Jesus Alou. So that's brother number 2. Felipe moves from right to left field, so you had 2 Alou brothers in the field. Felipe would come up in the 8th and hit an RBI single to score Jose Pagan. Jesus would come in and hit a fly ball out to third base. Willie Mays had an RBI single. Orlando Cepeda would see Willie Mays allegedly picked off, but unfortunately, Face made a giant throwing error to score Hiller. And Bailey would hit an RBI single, and it's 12-3. But here comes the big news. In the bottom of the 8th, Norm Larker went to play first base for Orlando Cepeda, and Matty Alou would play left field, batting 4th. But that's not the big news. Felipe Alou went from left to center, which means that in the bottom of the 8th, the Giants outfield had Jesus, Matty, and Felipe Alou in the outfield. Three brothers on the same team playing at the same time out in the field and in the outfield, which has three positions. Bottom of the eighth, they didn't touch the ball as two groundouts and a strikeout happened. In the ninth, Felipe hit a ground ball out, and Jesus had a ground ball out, despite the fact that Chuck Hiller hit an RBI single. Unfortunately for Matty Alou, he made a massive error in the outfield on a Bob Bailey ball. Mazeroski would hit a 2 RBI single, making it 13-5. But Odell quietly got the last few outs, and the Giants win by a score of 13-5. Billy Odell gets the W for his 13th win. He was 13-8. Don Shaw drops to 6-11. But the big thing was that Felipe Alou, Matty Alou, and Jesus Alou all played in the same game at the same time in the outfield. Felipe played all three positions in that game, right, left, and center field. There would be pretty good hitters and all that, but the one Alou that many people would know, and I would know more, is Felipe. Mostly because he was in the Montreal Expos coaching system and always was rumored to be the new manager for many years, until finally in 1992, after Tom Reynolds made massive errors in judgment, Reynolds was fired for Felipe Alou. Felipe got some good news because in 1990, the Expos made a trade sending Shane Smith to Pittsburgh for three prospects. One of them was his own son, Moises. Moises Alou would actually blossom in Montreal under his father's tutelage. And the Alous would be a vital part of Montreal for a long years. Alou did pretty well. He was the manager in 94 when the Expos should have went to the playoffs, but that stupid strike happened. And Moises stayed in Montreal for 2 years afterwards. So 1998 when he signed with Houston. No, sorry, 97 when he signed with the Marlins, who basically bought the World Series. Moises Alou would go on to play for Houston and the Cubs. And, of course, we all know Moises Alou was that left fielder who got robbed of that foul ball thanks to Steve Bartman. Although it must be said that Steve Bartman was not at fault at first because, the ball was in the stands, which is fair game, and someone touched the ball first, and then it landed at Bartman's feet. So logically, that was huge and all that. But yeah, the Alous were big in Montreal, but no titles, not good. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.